just pictures of my mother. Look at that tweed coat, smoking a cigarette as everybody did back then.
The mailboat stopped at Timmy's Nook, picked people up, and then took them up to Andy's dock, and my brother Pete loved to ride the mailboat.
There were probably, I would imagine, half dozen children on the whole island.
And we used to cut through the jungle back behind the house to go to the old post office.
My wife has worked for the post office. My brother still works for the post office. My sister worked for the post office. It's almost like maybe we ought to own the thing by now. It's part of America to have the Postal Service, you know, started by Benjamin Franklin. Part of life, that the post office would always be there.
All of a sudden, they'd just go, boom. The social life revolved around the beach. There was a lot of spontaneous drinking.
We'd be sitting there thinking, you know, it's time to have a drink. Anybody drinking over there?
What's a guy got to do to get a little service out here?
I said to my mother, I'd like you to have, please, a small cocktail party. And I'd like you to invite George Parker.
He wanted me to marry him for quite some time. I couldn't make up my mind whether I really wanted to get married or not.
She used to come over to their cottage and go to peek in and see the newlyweds. And Dad said he'd wait for her, and then he'd just, bam, put the window down.
He had big feet, so we would always hang his stockings for Santa Claus.
My mother must have felt how much fun they were having. That just changed my father's life entirely.
And he knows that. Wherever he went, he had to play golf, and that was about the last thing he did.
And that was a practice all over the place.
I didn't know the next day I was going to have a heart attack.
Oh my gosh. I told him I might be changing my name to Parker, but you're going to become a Loomis.
It's a wonder it lasted, isn't it?
Yeah, but you were on this side, I remember that.
No, I was on this side, I remember. And of course, I was heartbroken. I was in tears about this disappointment.
Didn't know that, did you? Which postmaster would you like?